we're going to do, Alan and I are going to share the presentation. So I'm going to ask, I've talked enough. I'm going to ask Alan to take it away, sir. I shall click when I figure it's, I need to click.
I'll wave my finger at you. I'll wave my finger at you.
Actually, I made the I don't see you anymore.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right,
I'll go with you. It's
very good.
Not a problem, as they say in America. Not a problem.
Not a problem. Not a problem. It depends on where you're from. See, so I have 3 monitors because I'm in the financial markets. So I can see you on one, presentation on the other, charts on a third, all that kind of stuff. So guys, first of all, we got 68 people on the call. You guys obviously could be anywhere on a Friday evening. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in the middle of the United States. Just about dead in the center is Nashville, Tennessee. So we're going to talk to you about something that is very near and dear to my heart. It didn't start out that way, but it has become that way over time, simply because of the people that I've been able to meet, notwithstanding George and Chris and all the wonderful people that are in the core. But like even today, my boards have been going crazy. I've been up since 7:30 this morning, sending and receiving. And it's really super cool. I just talked to a gal from Namibia, and I don't know what $100 means there. We're not well traveled here in the United States, but I can imagine here in the US, we call the 100 the new 20, but I know that it's not that way for everybody. So it just really warms my heart that I could send her $400 using Wise Transfer, because I know that it makes a lot of difference to me. So I know it does for her. So these are some of the fantastic things about getting your world colored with Gift of Legacy. So we are a gifting activity. You guys need to understand that there's a difference between a gifting activity and MLM. We'll talk a little bit about that. Most importantly, this is by invitation only. And because it is by invitation only, it is not something that is thrown out there in the social media platforms and so on and so forth. So before we get started, we want to have a quick disclaimer. The presentation is for information sharing only, and it's not to be construed as any financial advice. Look, you're big boys and big girls. You made a decision to be here. You made a decision to accept that invitation. You need to make your own decision as to whether or not this is a path you want to take. Neither myself or George or anybody in Gift of Legacy are financial advisors or tax advisors or advisors in general, right? We're just some guys here that are volunteering, guys and gals that are volunteering to try and get the word out about something that we believe can touch millions of lives and make a difference in your life. The information given is only intended as examples of what a participant may expect, but not will expect. All right, so this is what Gift of Legacy is about. It's about sharing. It's about caring. If you're a person who likes the idea of sowing and reaping, you're going to love this, okay? And it has an automated gifting economy arising as a people join together to thrive instead of merely survive. What does that mean? You see, every day when I wake up, I decide to be happy because I believe in our hearts, we make decisions in our lives. Every day the sun shines down, my default setting is gratitude. It has made a huge difference in my world because it wasn't always that way. I'm not a person who's looking for the hook, the catch. I'm not cynical in any way, shape, or form. I believe in love. I believe in high vibration and sharing, and that's what we have in this community. We're growing beyond the current monetary structures, and alternative currencies are emerging. What does that mean? That means we're a group of people that are helping hands, right? We're all reaching out, supporting each other, helping each other grow both financially and in the mind. We're a new economic paradigm, for sure. That is true. It is replacing the outdated traditional structures that no longer serve society. Now, here's something from the Cultural Forum in China by a guy named Ervin Laszlo. And I quote, "Either we will join together for an ecological civilization in the next few years, or we will become extinct." Well, here we believe in that. Here we are doing the things necessary to make sure that all of us have the right puzzle pieces together to be able to thrive in that kind of a world. All right, so I'm going to introduce things to you. As George said, he's going to take you through the nuts and bolts of things, but Gift of Legacy is a gifting activity, and it's supported by what I like to call, they call it a unique algorithm. I call it a unique intelligent algorithm. It's a very intelligent algorithm. Now, don't be blown away if you don't know what the word algorithm means. All it is a set of directions, a set of instructions that are followed based on logic. And it drives the perpetual movements of the gifts between individuals all over the world. And that's what this thing is. I know that's a mouthful, but you guys, this is a very simple thing that if my buddy Tim, if you're listening to Tim ever, he says, if you follow the simple instructions that have been laid out for you, you can't help but succeed. It is an absolute certainty that that will happen. Gifting has been a well-kept secret that has literally changed the lives of millions of people worldwide. Okay, what you want to do when these Zooms are over is you want to get back with the person who had the wherewithal to invite you to take a look at this. And believe me, no one's going to drag you into these things kicking and screaming. Either you're going to see this and you're going to see it like the rest of us and be a like-minded person who's ready to go, right? Get ready to get off the sidelines and get in the game and make some changes, not only in your own life, but in the lives of others, or you're not. Either way is fine. You see, relationships are super important. They're more important than anything. So nobody wants to blow up relationships over something like this. You're either going to love it or you're not. And that's fine either way. But you can't make an informed decision without being what? Informed. All right, so let's move on. All right, so who is this for? Again, I mentioned this before because I love it. If you believe in the principles of sowing and reaping, if you believe that you give and you shall receive, and this is the part that I love the most. Do you enjoy blessing someone that you don't even know? That happened 3 times this morning. And I promise you, it started being a little overwhelming to me, thinking that without the effort that's been put forward by the volunteers who put this whole platform together, and that's what it is, it's a platform. It's not a company, it's not an institution or anything like that, not an LLC, C Corp or anything like that. It's a group of volunteers who sought in their hearts to put this beautiful platform together. I would not have met the people that I met this morning. I met a lady, she's in Turkey. She's already invited me and my whole family to come over there, send me pictures of what it looks like to look out at the Mediterranean from her flat. And I'm just like, man, this is crazy good. So the other type of person is going to be someone who wants to take control of their life. And I don't know anybody who doesn't want to do that and help others succeed in life. That's for sure. That's who's going to be attracted to this. If you answer yes to any of that, okay, you're going to love what you see here. So let's talk about the global gifting activity for just a second. Here's one thing. Now, I'm going to talk to my MLM friends that are out there because, again, George identified that there may be a few of you on this phone call. When an MLM has a series of products, health products or something else, it is very difficult for them to spread to other countries, to open up other countries. It's a big deal. Why? Because you can't just take products, especially health products or something like that, over the borders of another country. You have to, we here in the United States, we have the Food and Drug Administration. It's called the FDA. And if the FDA doesn't approve you, you can't come. That's just it. You can't come to the party. Other countries have the same thing. You see, here's what's wonderful about what we are. We're a peer-to-peer gifting community, right? And we have no products. So MLMers, get it out of your head that we're a pyramid scheme if you're thinking that, because we're not. We are a peer-to-peer gifting community. Therefore, we can open up anywhere we want to because we're not opening up anything. It's okay for me to send somebody money in Italy. It's okay for me to send somebody money in Mallorca. Hey, hopefully I end up in one of George's boards at some point in time, right?
Perfect.
Okay. And we have over 200,000 members in over 100 countries. Here's the thing. We started in January. I mean, the literal start, right? I mean, there was a lot of groundwork being done before that. And we started with 7,500 members. We're over 200,000 members now since January of this year. You think there's a little something going on here? We're creating a movement. Okay. And basically here it was put together by a bunch of people that donated their time. So it's based on something called a sacred economics. Now, this is something we don't know very much about here in the US, but I can speak to it. Gifting has been used around the world for centuries, and it traces back to the 1960s modern culture. It actually goes back well before that. But we're talking about modern culture. It's 100% legal and has been off the mainstream system for decades, based on, in Africa, they call it the Ubuntu culture. And basically what it is communities helping each other. You see, here in the United States, we call that a barn raising, right? In other words, You're building a barn, all your buddies come over and help you put that thing together. That's what we're really doing here, but we're doing it with finance. And it's a wonderful feeling, I promise you. We're blessing millions, giving hope and education and abundance globally, redistributing wealth into the hands of many. Okay. And in the first 3 months, more than 30 million USD has been gifted among our GL members. That is crazy, you guys. Now, here's a big word, decentralized. Okay, we are a decentralized platform. That's good. That means there's no shutdown mechanism. Okay, no company, as I mentioned, no broker, no institution or trader. We're simply an interactive website put together by a bunch of people who care, right? Volunteers that manages the movement of the boards in our gifting activity. All you need is a computer, a smartphone, and an internet connection. And it's highly recommended that you have WhatsApp and Telegram. You got to have those two tools. Now, these are free things that you can go to your own app store, whether you're a Google Play or whether you're an iPhone, Apple App Store. They're free. Learn to use them. I like to say this to my team. So I got a little bit more of a hard edge. People in the US are used to that kind of speak. You cannot build a brick wall. You can't become a mason unless you go get the right tools. Okay, you can't build something beautiful in Gift of Legacy unless you go get the right tools. And the right tools are WhatsApp and Telegram. So get them. Don't wait. Just go learn how to use them. All right. So again, we're a peer-to-peer gifting activity. What does that mean? It means person to person. Gifts get directly paid to you. So there is no middleman or third party controlling any of your money. Let me tell you how important that is. All right. I'll park here for just 1 second, George. You should want to be in control of your own financial destiny. You should want to have full autonomy, transparency of your own money. Do you know how cool that is with this? Do you know we're not relying on a company to pay commissions because there's no product to pay commissions on, right? This is simply me transacting with George or me transacting with Chris or any one of us that are on this call transacting with the people that we're transacting with on our boards when we're a legend or a gifter. So having no third party, no additional fees, no tokens to buy, all that kind of stuff is amazing to me. This is really an idea that is way ahead of its time, the way that we control it. So pretty awesome that there is no third party. And I already touched on that. No tokens, right? 100% peer-to-peer. And it's perpetual. All right. Perpetual means that it goes on forever. That's the infinity signal that you see. An 8 turned on its side is what I always say. And like my buddy Tim says, and he says it well, if you follow the duplicatable steps in this system to continue receiving gifts, it will continue forever. You see, here's what I know. I love math. Yep, you can call me weird or whatever, but I love math. And what Gift of Legacy is, and what these boards are, is a very, very simple math problem. 2, they get 2, they get 2 goes on forever. And the algorithm takes care of the rest. It is a beautiful thing. It can go forever and ever and ever. It's just absolutely wonderful the way they put it together. And I'll tell you this, as we're talking about this, passive income dollars to me are worth 20-fold what a dollar is that I have to go out and hustle for every minute of every day. It was like yesterday, one of my boards split, and it was put together by a German group and this lady in Turkey that I met yesterday. I mean, I literally, it just happened, right? And then boom, in my account, there's money. And I'm like, that's such a beautiful feeling. Not only is it a beautiful feeling to receive that, but it's also a beautiful feeling to be able to give that. So we are more than just a gifting activity, you guys. It's a whole bunch of great stuff. We help each other grow. We help each other succeed. We support each other and we uplift one another. Remember, I said the community is a community of helping hands. We give from the heart. We share the love. We help others to become the legend, build your very own legacy financially. Crazy. We're a community with the same vision. You heard George say that earlier. And I love when he alluded to that. It doesn't matter where we come from, what our cultures are like. We all want one thing, the best that we can get for those that we know, love, and care about. That's really what this is, right? And we're a group of helping hands wanting to change the lives of anybody who wants to pay attention. All right. So is this where you take over, George?
I can take over here, sure.
All right.
So we're going to talk about, that was great. You said some super stuff. Caused me to think of this journey which we're on, which is wonderful. I've in this journey I've received gifts from Fiji. And spoken to people with Fiji. I've never met anybody from Fiji before in my life. I've sent gifts to Rwanda. I've received from Dubai. I've sent to Croatia. It's one day I received a gift from Mexico and sent it on to Rwanda the next day. It was cool. Okay, so here we go. We have an orange dot here, and we're going to come back to this orange dot in a moment, and that will represent you on your journey. So to show this a little more clearly, we're going to go through it and build layer by layer. So what we do is we join a board by obviously signing up. The person who invites us sends us a link, we register, and we give an unconditional gift to the person who's in the center of the board, who's called the legend. And then we share a gift of legacy with like-minded, like-hearted people who in turn do the same. That's something really rather important to keep in mind, like-minded, like-hearted people. When one shares it from a heart position rather than an intellectual or money head position, it goes much more easily. But we can talk about that later. Then we take a journey. We're going to look at the journey that we take through the 4 boards, which are bronze, silver, gold, and platinum with different values: $100, $400, $1,600, and $5,000. We're going to talk about the role we have on each board. On every board, every board is the same, never mind the value. On every board, you take a journey from the gifting position to the builder position, to the guide position, and then to the center of the board, the legend position, where you will receive gifts. And in the first cycle through the boards, you will receive gifts totaling $42,700. And then on every single perpetual cycle, you will receive $49,700 over and over and over and over again. I'm going to say this here. Alan likes mathematics, and in our Spanish groups, we were talking, and one of the people said, I call this a people puzzle. The first board, I describe it as a people puzzle. And one of the people said, it's like a human blockchain. We're on a human blockchain. Alan will understand this. We do the complicated maths, let's say, of human maths on the first board, which we're going to see in a minute. But once we get through the first board, we're written into the human blockchain, just as you would be in let's say a Bitcoin transaction is confirmed. And once you're in this human blockchain, you will be on the perpetual board time and time and time again. And that, together with the fact that I can leave this, that it turns into an asset that I can leave to my daughter, this is what made me say, I got to do this. And I've been giving it full energy for a while now. Okay, so once again, the orange dot, and let's get started. So you enter, as I said, gift of legacy, gifting $100, an unconditional gift of $100 to the legend on a board. That is the one and only time you will ever take money out of your own pocket. There are, you may at some point, if you choose, take money out of your pocket. However, this is the only time that you have to do that. It's, as we said, it's peer-to-peer. Gifting is peer-to-peer. 100% of all gifts sent directly to the legend, to a legend on a board. And gifts can be sent. There are many ways to get monies from one part of the world to the other. Latin American people use airtime a lot, AirTM. Wise, people use Wise, though Wise seems to close accounts. I had a Wise account for 4 years, use it in my business a lot. It got closed after 20 gift of legacy transactions. In Europe, we use Revolut. People use WorldRemit, bank transfer, PayPal, crypto. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And many people also use Western Union if that's the only way. Crypto, for many people, that's new, but we're in a world where it's going to be ever more important to have the ability to receive and send crypto and understand how to do that with a crypto wallet. So I would encourage people who don't have crypto to use this as an opportunity to begin with the basics of crypto, being able to send and receive crypto and turn it back into your local currency. On our Spanish groups, we've had a series of 3 long Zoom calls on crypto, and in English, Tim has produced, I think Tim with Petra have produced a series of videos. So the information is definitely there for you to benefit from. There is no middleman other than the bank. If you're using a bank or PayPal, we take a nice whack out of both sides. But it's very important to know that no money goes to or through the platform. That is key, and one of the reasons why Gift of Legacy has not attracted problems in South Africa from the fiscal authorities there, because they actually went through this with Chris. And so anyway, I continue. You journey through 4 boards. All the boards look like this. This board is the bronze board, but every single board you're on, whether it's bronze, silver, gold, or platinum, looks like this. And there's a legend in the center. 2 guides on either side of the legend, 2 builders on either side of the guides, and on each side, there are 4 gifters. So 8 gifters on total, 4 on the left, 4 on the right. In this board, you come in with $100 and you leave with $800. So we're going to go, and now what I'm showing you here is every board looks like this. The numbers are different. So we're going to see first we're going to look at the board structure itself. If you remember, I said you come in as a gifter, you give $100 as a gift to the legend on the board. Then the other gifters who come on the board, they're also sending $100 to the legend on the board. So then when the legend has received all of the gifts, the board splits, you go up to the builder level. Now, at the builder position, it's called builder for a reason. This is the point where you start inviting people, where you're beginning to understand how this journey is, how Gift of Legacy is working. And in an ideal world, this is the moment where every builder on the board invites 2 people. The reality is some people invite 2 people immediately. Some people, it's harder for them, it takes longer for them. But so long as you get to the legend position with 2 invitees, then you are qualified to take the whole journey, which we're going to show you now. If somebody may ask, well, what happens if I get to the legend position and I don't manage to find anybody? Well, then the system will sideline you, just like a footballer is put on the bench until he's called back into the game, and you'll be sidelined until you've invited 2 people. I'm going to say this here. Some people invite people immediately, but other people it's more difficult for them. And I always tell the story of Granny Sylvia, who's in the South African groups, when in the precursor platform. It took her when people tell me, oh, I've talked for 3 days and I haven't found anybody, I'd say, well, let me tell you about Granny Sylvia. She spent 2 months, talked to 140 people, before she found her two people. And now I actually gifted her on one board. Now she's got money in her. She was living on a pension of $300 a month, which never got her past the 18th or the 20th of the month. Needed help from her children. She's now able to help her children and has a year's money in her bank account. So I think I found that to be very inspiring. We continue. So the other gifters all came in to the builders, and the board split again, and you then come into the guide position. In the guide position, you actually experienced helping other people to invite. You've experienced gifting. You're one step from the legend position, and now this position is the guide position. So you will help the builders on that you've invited, but also from next week we're going to have a board chat, so therefore everybody in the board can talk to each other. And my view is help everybody on your journey, in your board and outside your board, because it benefits everybody and it makes the boards flow more quickly. So board split again, and you are in the middle, and this is the point where you receive 800 gifts in total. So imagine now you have finished your first bronze board. You've received 800 gifts in total. What do you do? And we talked about perpetuals. So this is where the magic starts to happen. You hold back $400 and you get on the silver board with the $400, and you hold back $100 and you now get onto your first perpetual bronze board. What does that mean? We're going to see that in a moment. However, at the same time, you will have received $300 in your pocket. So the money that you gifted in the first place has now tripled, way better than if you put your $100 in the bank. That would probably take like 500 years, maybe. I haven't figured that one out yet. And you have possibilities in your life. You are on a board which it will bring you 8 gifts of $400, and you're on a perpetual board which will bring you 8 gifts of $100. Now, we're going to see if this slide deck works the way that I think it's going to work, because it's a new one. That's the first time I've seen it. Yeah, it did what I was thinking it was going to do. You are on a $100 board, but this time you will receive $800 as on all the $100 boards, but this time you get to keep $700, because what you will do is you will take $100 and get on another $100 board and keep $700, and you will do the same and the same and the same, and just keep going on bronze boards. I think the Ferris wheel came from Chris, because he liked the idea of this wheel that just keeps going and going and going and going and going. So over and over and over and over and over to infinity. Okay, so your silver board. What happens with your silver board? You come in on the silver board with $400 US dollars, or the equivalent in Europe. We just do the equivalent of the exchange rate and send euros, and many times to South Africa, bank transfers have to be in ZAR, so we agree the amount of ZAR and send that. And we come out of that board, the silver board, with $3,200. What do we do then? We have received $3,200. We hold back $1,600 to get onto the gold board, a $1,600 board. And we hold back $400 to get onto a perpetual silver board. So now we are on we are on a gold board, a perpetual silver board, and a perpetual bronze board, keeping this time $1,200 into one's own personal economy. Perpetual cycle now with a $400 board. Every time you leave the $400 board, you receive $2,800. You gift $400, and you get to keep $2,800 each time you do that, time and time and time again, and back to Chris's Ferris wheel. And so now we're going to look at the goal board. In the goal board, we come in with $1,600. We leave with $12,800, which is amazing. This I've lived this already, and it's quite amazing. And then what do? We gift $5,000 on a platinum board. I was delighted to be able to give that gift. And we hold back $1,600 to be on a perpetual gold board. So now we're on a platinum board where we will receive $40,000. We're on gold boards perpetual and silver board perpetual and bronze board perpetual. We've seen what silver and bronze do. And we get to keep this time $6,200. That fills holes, allows one to attack one's shopping list if one has one. It's begins to be really interesting now. So perpetual cycle, $12,800 on every board. You get to keep $11,200 every time gifting $1,600. Again, you got the idea by now. Time and time again, and back to Chris's Ferris wheel, and over and over and over and over and over to infinity. So next, on the $5,000 board, which is the last board, and basically when I got on the $5,000 board, I realized this is already basically a perpetual board, because every time you leave the $5,000 board, you're going to get 40,000, and you have completed round one, and you're going to hold back 5,000 and enter a perpetual platinum board. Gifts in your pocket, $35,000, and you will be on platinum boards and one after the other every time, keeping $35,000. Now, for financial people, to have a profile in Gift of Legacy is basically the equivalent of having something like $2 million in the bank and having perhaps maybe between $700,000 to $900,000 in shares. So basically, you can build up a huge, valuable asset with Gift of Legacy. So let's continue. Now, you can see that you're on 4 perpetual, in a perpetual cycle at 4 levels, at the $100 level, at the $400 level, at the $1,600 level, and at the $5,000 level. So I'm going to just remind you that it's $42,700 on the first cycle, and on the perpetual cycles, it's $49,700 every time. And at this point, I'm going to hand back to Alan to continue with we've got a few rules, and these rules are pretty important. There are not many of them, but they are important. So Alan, thank you, sir.
Yes, I will clean it up from here. Thanks for going through the nuts and bolts, you guys. This is a really simple thing. It sounds like a lot, but I promise you that it isn't. But we do have some guidelines. You see, we must, as I say, protect it.
Sorry. Just a moment. You're going.
Emergency in Majorca. All right. So yeah, we have to police our own activity. Remember, there's no corporate structure here or anything like this. It's all done by the community. You see, if you've got something good, you want to make sure that you protect it. How do you protect it? By following the activity guidelines that we have. So during your first cycle, a gift of $100 to the legend of the board. So I like to say it's a 3-step process. You get registered, you join the board, you contact the legend, you gift. It should all happen in one fluid motion. You shouldn't register, then hang out for 3 or 4 days, and then, and then contact the legend, and then decide to send a gift 5 days later. No. All right. It's literally a 3-minute process. Register, join the board, contact the legend, send the gift. All right. So make sure that you're familiar with the tools to send gifts, like George had mentioned, World Remit, I've used it. Wise, I've used it. Crypto, Cash App, Zelle, all kinds of different ways to send money. Okay. Invite two like-minded people, like-hearted people to journey with you. All right. That is the key to everything. That is the gasoline for the motor. That is what feeds the algorithm. You have to bring two people. And if you don't, and I love this, you guys, I love this. If you can't bring two people, that's okay. Gift of Legacy is a big-hearted community. Gift of Legacy says, we'll go ahead and let you journey through board number one time, but you will be sidelined and you will not be able to continue on because you aren't contributing to the gas that drives the motor. Help your two invitees do the same. You see, when you bring somebody on, you should walk them through everything they should expect. You should plug them into all of our calls, and then they can decide whether they want to participate or not. But you've done your job. Okay, you don't just throw somebody the tools to go out and build a house if you know how to build a house and they don't. Okay, you're liable to get a really crappy house. All right, so we don't want to do that kind of thing. We want to make sure that when you do bring your like-minded, like-hearted person to journey with you, that you help them have the best possible experience. Now, in your perpetual cycle, once you've completed your first cycle through the boards, you'll have access to re-enter a board of the same value, which maintains the system, like I just said. And it is crucial to the unique algorithm driving the sustainable movements of gifts. Important. You cannot advance or enter the perpetual cycles unless you have two confirmed invitees, like I just said. You can click, George.
Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, may I interrupt real quickly? There was a question that came in that directly relates to what's being discussed, and maybe you gentlemen can explain a little bit better.
Sure.
Just a minute ago, in regards to joining a board recently, corresponded and sent my gift to the legend. The dashboard says you have not been confirmed on your first board and will not be able to create inviter link. Hold on, I have to scroll down to read the rest of it because it was on small and another message came in. Basically, the question is asking at what point will the ability to create inviter links be? I've already responded in part that as soon as the gift is confirmed received by the legend, that opens up. The follow-up question I'd like to ask you gentlemen to elaborate on is, if somebody is motivated, has a lot of people to bring in from the gifter position, and they want to help move themselves and the board forward, they can maybe bring in their 2, 3, 4, all 8 gifters when they're, or all other 7 gifters when they're in gifter position. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Go up on the board that they are on next to them, or would some of them be on sister boards?
So, well, it's correct that they can do that. Very, very simply, these boards split. So when the boards split, everybody on the left side of the board goes one way, everybody on the right side of the board goes the other way. And then when the boards split again, everybody on the left side of the board of those child boards, let's call them, go one way and the others go the other way, which is why I say, this is, you're a bit more deeper into it. I always say we make journeys as and this is one of the big differences to MLM, to multi-level marketing. We make journeys as an individual through the boards, but we work together as a group. So for me, it doesn't matter where you are on the board, and it doesn't matter to me which board I land on and who's on the board, because we work together as a group with the people who we were with originally, because we have WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, Zoom calls, etc., etc. We give them support, and with the people who are on the boards we actually are on. I hope that gives you an answer.
It does and it doesn't. The question I am really trying to understand, since there's been some changes while I've been not as present, is if somebody has their 2 ready to go when they come in, those initial 2, and the board is slow. Let's say there's team members on the board and they've come in as a new gifter and they're really excited and they've got all the energy and the enthusiasm, and they get 2 people who say, oh my gosh, this is amazing, I've been looking for something like this. They get them on, they want them to come beside them. Will they?
Yes.
Will the couple at least come on the same board that they are actually on?
Until a board is full, everybody's invited by the gifters or the builders will land on the same board. Once the board is full, then they won't land on the same board. But until it's full, they will. So I've been on
And
board.
that's from the gifter and the builder position that they will be on the same board.
Correct.
Now, and if you are in a guide or a legend position and you haven't yet invited and been verified to be able to move through all the other boards, then if you're inviting from those positions, it's more likely than not that they'll be on a different board.
They will go onto a different board. They will go onto a different board. Previously, they didn't, but now they do. There's been changes to protect the system. We had some scammers and wise guys trying to break the system. So now, if you invite from the legend position or the guide position, the people you invite will go, Chris describes it as go to the sister board, the nearest
and then
board
snap
to you.
back.
They will snap back to you in some point in your journey. They may be behind you on the first perpetual board, the second perpetual board, the silver board, the gold board. Depends how fast they are to leave the board they're on and where you are in the journey. But yes, they do. Everybody you invite, everybody, wherever they land, and the people that they invite, it's like chain links. They're linked. So this is your lineage that follows you. Let's continue to.
There's one more thing that was asked that relates to positions on boards that I think would be good to address, and it dovetails nicely with what you were just saying. If a person reaches legend position without invitees, it opens a loophole to people that come and collect $800 and they come back under a different email.
Yeah, well, they can do that. If they do that, they're pretty short-sighted, but yes, they can do that.
I am sorry that you are not wrong in that understanding, my friend who asked that question. All right, I'm going to now shut up and let you guys finish the presentation.
Okay, so Alan, if you continue, but when you get to cross-pollination, maybe I can address a little bit more of what Rebecca was asking.
Sure. So here's what makes Gift of Legacy unique. It's user-friendly, okay? I mean, it really is user-friendly. You got a unique personal profile, okay, which is informative and easy to use, and everything you need to succeed will be at your fingertips. They've really thought of everything. There's a fail-safe system. Some people in gifting circles or other gifting activities that have been around say, well, you know, I've been in one of these that didn't work. Well, this one has an algorithm that keeps the boards moving so no one gets left behind. That algorithm is groundbreaking, all right? It takes care of new participants while rewarding the existing participants. That means everybody wins. And now, as we are approaching cross-pollination, the first cycle in perpetual positions connect the global GL gifting pool. And if you have something to say to add to that, go ahead, George. Yeah,
so people, when Chris announced that the system has the legends and gifters, legends and guides, when they invite their invitees land on other boards. So what this does, it actually makes the cross-pollination come into play earlier. I've had people get in touch with me and say, I'm on a board, I don't know anybody on the board and they don't speak my language. That's the whole point. We are, in the previous system, we kept building and building and building behind us, but we were always within the same group of people. So it was pretty hard. This way, what the algorithm does, it says, okay, we have, let's say, 100 new legends in bronze, and we're going to put them to close these other boards. The algorithm is going to put them. It's complicated, but the algorithm helps to close boards, and it basically takes people from one place and another place and says, this is the board which we're going to put them on because it is the best for everybody overall in Gift of Legacy, because it will close, because one of the taglines is nobody is left behind. So yeah, that's the cross-pollination. And the difference is with the changes that have been made, it comes in earlier rather than later.
Exactly. That's the best way you can explain it. Cross-pollination starts earlier now instead of later, which is actually better. And I think for those of us that have seen some of the boards that may have been slow in the past, the boards are moving like crazy right now. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So some of the other unique features is that we are a global community. And you guys got to understand the internet, when the internet started back in 1990, well, a long time ago, but when the World Wide Web started, we started getting closer as a world. We are now a global economy, a global community. So this is a tool that allows us to do business all over the world. Our community comprises people from, remember, over 100 countries already. So, we are using all kinds of different various communication methods. Again, this gal that I spoke to yesterday was from Germany. Her English was very bad. I use two tools. One's called iTranslate. You can get it from your Google Play Store. You can get it from your App Store. And I was able to communicate with her. While she did manage to tell me it wasn't perfect, it was good enough for us to transact. Right? I had somebody say to me on my team today, I don't know if my people would be willing to do that. Okay. Okay. I mean, if you can't download a free app called iTranslate, type in what you mean, and then cut and paste it into a text to earn $49,700, I feel for you. Your thinker is broken. All right.
I'm gonna add here that we have, because we're different cultures. For example, my experience with the North Americans is that very many of them don't have WhatsApp, and so you have to send them an email. And many other people in the rest of the world never look at the email, or they all work on WhatsApp. So communicate in more than one way. Personally, I can't stand Telegram, so I try and avoid it. But usually I get through to somebody in WhatsApp or email, and if I really have to, I'll go to Telegram. But that's me. What I'm saying by this is, reach out, communicate, not just in one through one channel.
Remember, guys,
phone, use WhatsApp. People who don't have WhatsApp, one of the things that WhatsApp allows you to do is call people who have WhatsApp, and there's no call charges. So, and Telegram does the same. So, you can do that too.
Yeah, 100%. And here's the thing. Remember, guys, we set the flavor for this thing early on. We are a community of people helping other people. You're going to have to be patient. You're dealing with different cultures. You're going to have to be understanding. You're dealing with different cultures. We all do things a little bit differently. I'm a big fan of Telegram, but Telegram isn't all popular in South Africa, so I use WhatsApp. And since I did business in Kenya and Nigeria and another business, I had WhatsApp, and I like WhatsApp. It's great. It works fantastic. So you guys, the idea is to facilitate as smooth a transaction between two people peer-to-peer as humanly possible. That means you're going to have different tools for different situations. Just is what it is. Okay. Embrace it, love it, learn it. Don't ever stop learning. That's when you start dying. All right. So it's not limited to 2 invitees. All right. Each profile must have the minimum of 2 invitees to continue. That's not too much to ask. I mean, honestly, I'm flabbergasted if somebody doesn't know 2 people that they want to help. Again, my calls are a little bit hard-edged here in the US, but you're going to find 2 people. I promise you, 2 people. Yeah, it's like the same excuse. You walk into a store and the guy says, "Hey, can I help you?" "No, I'm just looking." Well, what are you looking for? You didn't walk in here just to waste your time, right? I mean, so same thing here. "Oh, I don't know 2 people." Wow. Yes, you do. Okay. You absolutely do. So don't crush yourself with that kind of thinking. All right. So then there's a fast track. GL has multiple strategies to assist you to move ahead faster should you wish. This is an area that has changed as well. We could spend a long time explaining this. There's no reason to. Just get back with the person that invited you. Let them explain that to you in the spirit of moving our presentation along. And then we have a community support team. So again, support is voluntarial. A lot of people have day jobs, right? They're not at a point where they become, sufficient enough. I mean, I'm truly blessed. I could sit here and do support and do my other things that I need to do because I work for myself. But just know that we have to show some patience when we're using support. It is a process of volunteers. So that's that. And if you want to pitch in, make sure you let somebody know, because I'm sure support would love to have that along. So these are some important things to understand. Again, there is no promoting on social media. No Snapchat, no TikTok, no Instagram, no Facebook, no nothing. All right. Just don't do it. What does that mean though? Somebody say, well, I don't post my link. All the graphics that are created in Gift of Legacy are trademarked. Do not post a graphic somewhere on some wall, somewhere in some social media app. Don't do it. Okay, we're a self-policing community and we will be asked to take it down. All right, no filling of spaces. All right, what does that mean? All right, you're not just going to throw 8 people in, your dog, your cat, your goldfish, your Siamese fighting fish, you know, the neighbor's daughter whose name you happen to know. We're not, this isn't about that. Okay, remember, each and every person has to bring 2 people to the table. Now, if you do like I do, I have a surprise for my wife and my daughter at the end of these journeys. They don't know about it. They know I'm doing it, but they don't know that I'm doing boards for them either. But I realized that when I put them in as my first 2 as my primary position, that I was going to have to find 2 more for each of those. Every position you start is required to bring in 2 people who are willing to do the same, because you don't want to dead end this thing. So no filling of spaces. Please do not do it. All right. All your invitees need to duplicate the system, like I just said, to maintain that momentum. Make sure that you're following this. Be the messenger, not the message. Okay. Super important. Drive people to these and other Zooms where you're not the person trying to explain. I literally spent 20 minutes with my buddy on the phone yesterday going, look, bro, if you shouldn't really try to explain this. Use the tools that are being put out there. All right. Invite people to Zooms, allow the presenters to do the work for you, and attend regular live presentations and watch all the recordings you can get your hands on. Why? Because if you want to stay lit, you got to stay plugged in. That's just the way it is. Okay. It is the same message, but different presenters have different styles with different angles. One is going to resonate with you. And there is a boatload of training. Again, whoever is on this call that might have participated in the academy, my hat's off. I love it. I think it's a fantastic tool, and a lot of work went into that. So there's a lot of different trainings available as well. Oh, there we go. All right. So in closing, you guys, there are no guarantees. I'm going to tell a little quick story here. A good friend of mine, a guy named Troy Brown. He was a anesthesiologist in a very small town of Oklahoma, a very successful MLM guy. And he would go around and he would make presentations, and somebody would always invariably ask some of the dumbest questions in my mind, but how long have you been doing this? You know, how long have you been doing this and how well have you done? That doesn't matter. Okay, my journey is going to be different than George's journey. My journey is going to be different than Chris's journey. Your journey, don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. It's not fair to yourself. There are no guarantees. You want to know how this works? You work. You work, it works. You don't work, it doesn't work. How many jobs could you go out and get? And this is nothing of a job where you got the job, but you don't go to work. How long do you think it's going to work for you? It's not going to work at all, y'all. There's no free money. There's nothing that's going to fall out of the sky and land on your head. And if anybody told you that, they're feeding you a line. Just don't buy it. So there's no guarantees. You got to get involved. You got to get off the sidelines. Okay, the success or failure of any participant depends on your willingness to participate. And follow the simple rules to make this thing work. Go out and find your 2, help them do the same. It remains an individual participant's responsibility. Remember, we're no financial advisors or tax advisors, to be in compliance with the tax laws in your country. Okay, Gift of Legacy is a decentralized platform. There's no third parties. That's so huge. There's no corporate structure. There's no ownership or partnership. Okay. Gift of Legacy is not partnered with anybody. If you're joining Gift of Legacy via a third party or part of a package, or you have a group that has some sort of sub idea on how to do it, that's your own risk. This is so easy. Please don't shortcut the shortcut. Okay, it's already a shortcut. Gift of Legacy is 100% peer-to-peer. No funds ever get played to the platform. I mean, how psychotic is that? So you guys, that's an important thing to point out here. Okay. Everybody, this wasn't free. Hosting a website like this is not free. All right. It costs a lot of money. We have 200,000 users. So we put stress on the system. And as we grow, it will cost more money to maintain and things like that. All done by volunteers. Okay, there has been a couple of things that have been put together so that we can gift the volunteers so that they can continue to maintain this incredible platform. But we should never expect them to shoulder the burden of cost here. So you guys participate in that, find out about that from, do we have that slide in this particular thing?
I don't know. I'm discovering this presentation. It's
yeah, me too. So go ahead and click and let's see where we are.
Okay.
Is that it?
Though I do believe that there will eventually there will be a. I suggested it and it's on the list. There will be a donate button in everybody's dashboard.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay. That is a great, great thing because that's what this is about, is giving and supporting. And believe me when I tell you, this is not a inexpensive undertaking for volunteers to be shouldering the burden. So do your part. Remember, there's over 200,000 people. Just $1 a piece would be a tremendous amount of money to keep the thing going. All right. So take a screenshot here because these are all the times. George and I always kid back and forth in a thread that we're in about GMT time. Figure it out. Here's how it just blows my mind. So when someone says it's GMT 20, GMT +2, and I know it's in South Africa, here's what I do. I just Google, what time is it in South Africa? Okay, so I can figure out how many hours I am behind that.
But yeah, more than one.
Let me please be the teacher that I am trained to be. GMT stands for Greenwich Mean Time. That was the original standardization of time. So if you're unsure what it means, GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. So do the conversion for where you live and don't assume the United States has one time zone. We have multiple, and it's really confusing because some of our states don't even do daylight savings when others do. So just know where you live and how time works where you are. And remember, time, just like money, are man-made constructs. We are trying to shift and alter what happens with money to support as many people as possible so that not all the wealth is held by the top 1%. And I'm sorry, I would like to speak out just a little bit on behalf of those of us that have been living in scarcity mentality. It takes a long time, a very long time in my experience, to become comfortable enough with the fact that people aren't going to believe me until I'm no longer living hand to mouth. So if you are in that situation like I am, don't let it discourage you when the people who are not in that same situation say, it's easy to find two people. It is and it isn't. We can do it if we have perspective, perseverance, and willingness to do our own inner work. Why is it that it's hard for me to invite people? Why is it that I have issues? And then don't make those issues the excuses. We are great in our human consciousness to create every excuse. The dog ate my homework, right? So please don't use those excuses. If this is something you believe in, play by the rules, enjoy the company, communicate with your teams. The board chat is coming soon, very soon. That will open up a whole new support network for our boards to move. And I have seen, quote, stuck boards start to move since the newest changes have been made. The algorithm is really working. So remember those 4 Ps. Be patient, be perseverant, understand your perspective, and I forget what the 4th one is.
Passion. Okay, hello? Can you guys hear me?
I was done, I muted, sorry.
Okay, passion, last one. I'm gonna just add here, Spanish Wednesdays is now, we're now every night of the week at Spanish 2100 Spain time, which is GMT +2. I know people have a great ability to confuse themselves, so all the Spanish announcements have the times everything from Eastern to Pacific to all the different countries in Latin America with the flag, so it makes it easy for people. However, that said, we also have Asia Pacific on Wednesday and Thursday, Zulu and Afrikaans, I believe also, Finnish, Italian, Portuguese, and French. Alan, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to click and here you are.
All right, so we also have some other things here. We have the official English Telegram groups, all right, Gift of Legacy official community, all right, the GL official info only, and the Gift of Legacy testimonials. Make sure you're a part of those. And I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Get back to the person that sent you this recording for more information to get started. And George, I was unaware that we were actually going to have a donate button in the back office. I love that so much. That's great.
Well, the sooner the better, because lots of people on the Spanish calls, they wanted to donate because and then they got muddled up about how to do it. So with that button, it'll be easier and then very clear routes to donate. So if you're up for it, I'd be very happy to take 4 or 5 questions from people.
Yeah, for sure.
And the kind of questions, please don't ask us support ticket questions. People who are new, who've heard the presentation or just at the beginning, ask us questions that we can help and that are beneficial to other people to hear the answers. So 4 Fortes. Okay, how are you? Please unmute your phone, your microphone. I've just clicked for you to unmute. Hi there.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Well, hello. How
Hi.
are you, George?
Good.
Well,
Good.
I have a question. I've been in a silver board supporting somebody who has no builders and no construction since the beginning of March, and now it's almost the beginning of May, and I'm still stuck in there waiting for I don't know what, because nobody in the board, all the people in the board basically are coming from my line and my team, and this fellow is in the center with nobody who is in his legacy. My question is, I have my very personal the person that's following immediately after me, one of my first invites just came out from one silver board trying to get me out of my silver board, and she is directly under me and I am a guy and she cannot get into my board. It sends her onto another international whatever boards there are, but I've been here since the beginning of March and I can't get out because this person is in the center, has nobody following him, and my person that is following directly under me is going somewhere else right now, and I just wondering how is that is happening and how can we solve that, because I'm been stuck here, not stuck, but I'm been in the waiting situation for over a month, and she is under me and she already came out from her board.
Look, I'll ask Alan to answer, and I've got a series of answers for you.
Yeah, I can tell you that's been reported. There has been a couple of cases of that, and we have. It has been reported. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I think they're aware of that going on. So, it's kind of more of a support question than it is anything else. But
however, you are on a silver board, and you say your silver board's from the beginning of March. So, the boards will get filled by 2 ways. You're on a board with 7 other people in between the builder, guide, and legend position. So each one of those persons has a lineage of their own that may not be yours. So those lineages will help to fill the board. However, it will come that silver board is the board that's been open, the silver board that's been the longest open. So what I am seeing is silver boards now from the 10th of February are getting filled by the algorithm. So it's not going to take forever for the boards of the beginning of March to be filled by the algorithm. So that's part of it. You also said something that I wasn't quite clear about, people who are on your who are still on the bronze boards.
Yes.
But so what I would tell you about that is we cannot control other people. We can help them, but if they don't want to do anything and they decide they're not going to do anything, what do? We control what we do. I've been on more than a few boards where I and one other person were the only person with any life. And we just close the boards. We fill the boards, close the board, fill the boards, close the board. Now, the fact that a group chat will come will help the communication between all the members on the boards to be able to help them and actually find out from people what their issues are. Some people are just ready to hand their position over to somebody else. Some people need to be encouraged perhaps to do that, and other people need to be pointed to where they can learn how to make this work for themselves. So there's my answer.
But to follow up, excuse me. So what do you suggest I do with my 2 immediately invites that go directly under me now they are already off their own silver board?
I personally, I don't care where I land and which board I found myself on. So my view is just get on the boards. They'll always snap back to you. Get on the board that you're on and take the journey. That's what I do. And I know a lot of people, especially, and a lot of multi-level marketers as well, they think where the person lands and say, I don't think about any of this stuff.
No, I don't think about that neither, but I think that she is under me. She came following me, and then she already off her own board of silver, and I'm stuck here since like I said, since the beginning.
No, the word stuck isn't the word to use. You are on a board from
there's not have no movement. Yeah, it has no movement.
It will have movement in due course. You remember what I told you, 10th of February, yeah. You said something around the 3rd of March. I don't remember the exact date, early March.
Yes, around early March.
It's not such a long way away.
That's really not very far.
That's 2 months though.
Well,
and I'm already on gold.
This
isn't
the right forum for this kind of conversation.
That's true.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
May I please suggest, however, please be patient and communicate with the people on the board that you know how to be in touch with. If you don't know how to be in touch with people, then wait for the board chat to be open. It will help. We will be able to get things sorted, and that will help support the movement. Cross-pollination is working. Be patient.
Yeah, that's for sure. But let me piggyback on that, Rebecca. I believe, if I heard it correctly, she's talking about a silver board. That's all algorithmic. You're not going to commute with somebody on that board to build that board. You only build bronze boards. That's it. There is no building any other board. I mean, that happens through the algorithm. So we got to keep that in mind as well. If she feels like there has not been enough movement on her board yet, like George said, that board's in line just like any other board, and it will start to receive people. I can tell you this, on one of my boards, there wasn't a soul on it. I woke up yesterday morning and it was packed. Not one.
It's amazing when that happens. It's happened to me lots of times now.
Gifters completely empty. I woke up yesterday morning, all 8 gifters were on the board. It's just the way the algorithm works. Be patient. It will fill, I promise you.
So look, if anybody's got a question which is really to do with the presentation, doubts and something like that, rather than please raise your hand if you have. Rebecca's got her hand raised.
Rebecca.
I was hoping somebody else might have a question first.
Me too.
However, I just want to reiterate and ask, because I believe you guys have journeyed further than I have so far in this. We will always be able to bring in new people, even on perpetual bronze boards.
Totally.
Remember, we can always bring people in. And just like Alan has shared, when we fill the first board and we're ready to move beyond the first bronze board, we advance. And that is the wise, intelligent algorithm. It is based in logic. It is structured rules that is coded into the system. So we don't need to understand how the car works to drive a car. We do need to know the rules of the road. We need to know how to drive the car we have. But if you're in the car, just trust the process and do your part that you know how to do. And stay positive, stay optimistic, stay enthusiastic, stay sharing. You might get 1,000 no's before you get your first yes.
I'm going to add this. Every time I'm on a new perpetual bronze board, I try and sponsor a couple of people. If I feel that the sponsorship, they got to, I'm delighted to sponsor people, but I always have deep conversations with them to see if they're actually going to do anything with it, because I don't want to just give it away. It's something precious. So I'll sponsor people who need and who are going to run with it. And it's been really wonderful to see. One particular person who didn't have the money, a Venezuelan person in Brazil, is now a legend in silver. And
I am going to say, to dovetail that, please be aware that when you 100% gift somebody in, strip away their will forces and their desire to work hard. In our world, money is where we have desire. We share our desire for something. If you want something bad enough, it might cost a lot or it might cost a little, and you'll figure out how valuable it is to you by what you give. That's not to say that nobody deserves a free 100% volunteer, a sponsored spot. And I have been blessed with some. Just be very aware, if you are giving away 100% support to somebody else, they may not be truly committed the way we want them to be.
That's why I have the deep conversations to find out.
Yeah, and you can just please be careful when you do that.
Colin has raised his hand. I'm going to ask him to unmute. And Colin.
Hello, George. Hello, Alan. And the rest. Hello. Yeah, look, what George was saying just now is the truth about. Sometimes you can sponsor somebody in if you know he's going to work. He sponsored me in. He knows what I've achieved. So what I'm saying is, don't be scared to sponsor somebody, but make sure they're going to work. And you must also, I mean, there's a lot of you maybe sitting here and getting impatient. And there's one thing, that's why they say the 4 Ps. Patience is the first one. He's teaching me to be patient too, George, because I can get impatient. And I must take some lessons. The algorithm, I've seen it fill up. And the best thing is, I can say, is don't get desperate. Sometimes we're desperate because we're in a bad situation with money. Let's not get desperate. Let's just be patient. It will come. Those big monies are on their way.
Look, I think we can end with this. We are changing people's realities. When people say to me, "This will change your life," I go, "Yeah. Do I really want my life changed?" I like my life, actually. I worked hard on it for many years, so I don't know if I want to change my life. But so I use the phrase "change realities," and what I can see with Colin, without going deeply into his personal situation, which is pretty tough, his perspective on the situation which he's confronting, that he is having to deal with, has changed completely since I first met him. Changed reality.
Very, very powerful, George. Yes. This is where the inner work that we have so many tools here in Gift of Legacy, that so many volunteers have put together so that we can become ready to change our reality. And when we are ready to change our reality, it's amazing how much reality changes.
So thank you. So with that said, Alan, you got some final words?
Everybody have a peaceful and blessed Friday evening. See you on the boards of abundance, right?
Cool. Lovely.
Can't wait.
Thank you for sharing this presentation. It's been fun to do it with you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do it again.
Look
All right,
forward.
everybody be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I will
Bye-bye.
say one thing for Cuatro Fortes. Join the Spanish calls on Tuesdays and Wednesday. We go deeper into those kind of topics.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye.
Good night. Night, guys. Good night, George. Good night, Len.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night to you too.
Alan, what a presentation. Very good.
Oops. Wrong.